And we are live. Welcome so very much to today's live stream, because we are going to address a topic that is one of the most common questions that we actually get. And that is, how do I find my ideal clients? Because so many people think that they do have an audience, but they don't have the exact right audience, because their comments, their engagement is filled by usually other coaches who are active and engaging on the platform, but also maybe former colleagues. So that is exactly what we're going to address today. What are the symptoms and how you can start fixing this? So if this is the first time that you come across me, my name is Josephine Warner, and I'm a former corporate executive turned LinkedIn expert and business growth specialist. And today with me by my side, I have my business partner, Angela Sundust. Hi, Angela. So lovely to have you here.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here for this live stream, and we try to go live at least once per month together to talk about topics that comes from our clients and our audience. And for you who don't know me, so my name is Angela. I'm a virtual event sales expert. So what I do, or what I help our clients with, is to attract and turn leads from cold to sold using virtual events. So we built masterclasses, webinars, challenges, workshop, and live launches. And I'm excited for today's topic because, as Josephine said, this is, I would say, one of the biggest question that we have when clients come in, especially when they come into me for doing virtual events. They want to know, how do I grow an audience to fill my events? And also when it comes to generating leads and sale and grow on LinkedIn.
Oh, I think that is such a great example, actually, because it's both the audience that we have on, for example, LinkedIn, because today we're going to focus on LinkedIn. But it's also when we invite people to, for example, a free masterclass, we know we have several clients or who became new clients who said, I have run free masterclasses, but they didn't convert. And I think it is because I had the wrong audience. So it's actually two different tracks, you can actually say, that you have the wrong audience as such on the platform that you're on, but also when it comes to your free events that you're running. Mm-hmm. So the symptoms of both of these things, how do you know that you have the wrong audience, is you don't get any leads or you don't get any clients. So even if you get people into a masterclass, let's say those are the leads that you are attracting, if they then don't convert into clients, there obviously can be a lot of different problems too. But we are going to address the problem of having the wrong audience on your platform. So Angela, what is if we focus on that part first, having the wrong audience on the platform, is there anything that you want to say about that one?
Yeah, but I can mention, because one thing that we can hear a lot is that I have the wrong audience because people are not engaging in my content. And just one thing that I want to mention before you throw the entire audience out: do you target a market that likes to comment, that likes to engage? Because there's a lot of niches or a lot of areas, a lot of markets where people are more looking around, they are checking, they are reading, but they might not engage. So I just want to kind of throw that out before you go in and do an analytic of your audience and say, well, nobody comments, so it must be the wrong audience, so now I'm going to remove everybody. You just need to look into and think about that. Not all people in some niches or areas will actually engage, but they are going to read. So you're going to see that there has people have viewed your content, but they might not engage. So I just want to mention that before we kind of kick off. But I mean, if you produce content that is written in the way that you speak as the expert, that is usually where you're going to see low engagement or the wrong audience, because they just don't get it. And people who don't get your message, they are not going to comment and they're not going to read either, right?
So that is such a great example too. And I really wanted to, you said something, I wanted to grab that one. The audience, especially on LinkedIn, I would say, because we do know that if you like someone else's content, if you comment on someone else's content, your audience that you're currently having might actually see that you like and comment on someone else's content, which is great for us content creators, but it might feel very intimidating for the person who doesn't dare to like, who doesn't dare to comment. I mean, I was that person. I didn't even have a profile picture when I started my business on LinkedIn. So for that reason, and let's assume you're a relationship coach, or maybe you're a leadership coach and you're helping people to get a new job. your audience will not raise their hand and say, hey, I have a crappy boss and I want to get a new job, or I need help in my relationship, or I want a new boyfriend, or whatever it might be, right? So that is like one of the reasons why it might feel as if you have the wrong audience. The how to say the negative thing about that one, though, is that if no one stops to read your content, meaning the dwell time, the time that they are reading your content, if no one likes and engages in your content, it will send a signal to LinkedIn that this is not readable, or people don't really like this. So that is why we need to attract a little bit like or grow a little bit different type of audience so that it's more seen by more people. And then what else? You said something else that was really smart that I wanted to pick up on.
I just throw out stuff. No,
smart things.
Well, it is the impression. So just because an audience don't comment, like they don't engage, they don't click like, they don't comment below, you can still see how many people have read your content, and you can see how many impressions or how many views you got, and that is probably the metric that you need to kind of look after when you go and look into the analytics of your content. If you're in a market where people are not engaging in that way on post or on content.
And now I remembered, I just wrote it down. The other real important thing you said was the language, right? And I did an in-person workshop last week, and I saw that there too, that the people that I had in front of me and the people that we get into our programs too, they are the specialists. They know their topics inside and out. They are educated. And I think that is a big problem, actually, because they are so trained and they have gotten a completely new vocabulary, so that they're using a language which they understand and their colleagues understand it, but their ideal clients don't understand it. So the language that we're using needs to speak to the people that we really want to attract. And I think that is also one of the reasons why you might only get coaches to comment on your stuff, because you are using coaching language that only coaches understand. So that is a big thing that you need to look into and actually need to change. So we have Aryab with us here today. Hi, Aryab. Lovely to have you here too. So if you are watching this live, make sure you add a little bit of a comment, because we are live right now. We see you. We can't hear you though, but you can hear us. And then if you have any questions, make sure you add them in the comment section too. And if you stay until the end, we're also going to invite you to our next free masterclass, and we will add the link even if you look at checking the replay of this, right? So if we have spoken a little bit about like different reasons why it might feel as if we have the wrong audience, what if we move in to talk a little about how can we then actually fix this, right? And the first one I really want to say is that we don't fix this by just adding more people. We are not collecting LinkedIn connections like Pokemon cards, right? Because the more people you collect in that sense, and if they are then still the wrong people, you will have a huge audience, but you will not have an audience of buyers or of people that are actually engaging in your content. So one step that we teach our clients to do is to actually connect with active people who are active on the platform, who are engaging in other people's content. You find them in the comment section. And this is where most of our clients then say, oh, but that is a little bit weird. How can I connect with people that I don't know, right? So what do you want to say about that, Angela?
I just want to mention, I think it's so important to look at the numbers, because there's so many people that are so obsessed with followers, to have a number, have a huge number. If I only reach 5,000, if I only reach 10,000, and then they send connection request everywhere, maybe, I don't know how many per day you can actually send to people that are not even active on the platform. So they grow a huge audience that is not engaging, and they're certainly not going to buy anything because they're not even on the platform. It just looks good on the numbers perspective. But as Josephine said before, you also send a signal. If I have 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, nobody cares about what I write. It sends a signal that what I write is not interesting. And that is, but the reason that happened is that I connected with people that are not active on the platform in itself. And that is one of the biggest problem that we have is that people are so focused on the numbers when you should be focused on the right people instead of the metrics. So that I want to just address. And yes, it can be weird to go out. Maybe you have some mindset block or limiting belief when I go out to connect with people, but you just have to do it. I mean, you can't get if you do not give. They're not just going to fall from the sky. You need to find them, and where you find them is on where they are engaging on other people's content, right? And that can be a little bit weird in the beginning, but you just need to get over that. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah. And also to think in terms of when we connect with our peers and we start commenting on our peer stuff, like I mentioned in the beginning, when I comment on someone else's post, my audience has the possibility to actually see that I'm commenting on someone else's post too. So we are sharing the audiences with each other. And there are so many people out there who needs what it is that you're doing. So don't be afraid of not of connecting with people, right? And of also commenting on other people's stuff, or connecting with your peers, connecting with people that have complementary offers, just like Angela and I have. Together we get to serve our audiences way broader in comparison if I would be like completely alone and Angela would be completely alone. This way we have complementary offers where we actually get to help and serve our clients like way broader than what we would otherwise, right? So we have a question here from Ubaid: how to attract more audience while not active on LinkedIn. I assume you mean who are not active on LinkedIn, because if you are not active on LinkedIn, then it will be very difficult to attract any audience at all. You have to start being active. You have to start commenting, engaging, but not commenting and engaging like crazy, right? We follow a strategy which actually helps you to grow an engaged audience and at the same time not be on LinkedIn 24/7, because being more on the platform is not going to generate more leads and clients. It's actually, like Angela said, you have to find the right people, you have to engage with the right people, and through that you will generate more leads and clients. Anything that you want to add there, Angela, to that?
Yeah, and I think it's important to say it needs to be sustainable, because if you want to grow on a platform, we usually do this. We go all in, and I'm all for going all in. That is not the thing. But then you go from 0 to hanging on the platform 3, 4, 5 hours per day, and it's just gonna burn out. And we can see it a lot. So they go all in with hours and hours and hours and engaging, but then they come to a point where it's not sustainable anymore, and then they fall totally off. And when you then get on the platform again, it's so draining because it's almost like starting over. So however you decide to grow and do this, it needs to be sustainable. And that is one of the strategies that Josephine teach for LinkedIn, that is actually manageable. You can do it even from your little corner on the internet without spending hours and hours on the platform in itself, because you're just going to burn yourself out, and the platform is going to be boring because you feel like you spend hours and hours getting nothing in return. And that is not how it should be, because it should be fun. It should be fun to be on LinkedIn. It should be fun to engage with people. It should be fun to connect with your target market. It should be fun, because if we do things that we don't find is fun at all, well, we are going to stop doing it, right?
And I see that if I compare to when I started being really active or more active on LinkedIn, the people that I connected with back then, I can promise you that maximum 10% are still here, because all the others completely burnt out. They didn't have a strategy. They escaped probably to what's it called? The other platform where you write now. Can't remember what it's called. You know, where you write instead. Substack. Where they have escaped to Substack thinking that will solve the problem. It won't. Like, just running to a different platform is not going to solve your problem. It is about having a strategy that really works for you. And talking about different platforms, that actually leads me to, I see some people using Instagram strategies to try to attract audience or to try to attract leads on LinkedIn. And I don't think they're working. I can't say for sure, obviously, but those of my clients who have come to me because they weren't working have told me so, that they didn't work for them. But there is always, there are always exceptions to the rule. But the strategy that I'm referring to is where you see comment the word so-and-so and I will send you a freebie, or send me a DM and I will send you the link. The audience on LinkedIn are most of the people, I would guess around 95% are observers or lurkers, right? They don't want to be visible. They don't want to add a comment on someone else's post to just get a link. They don't want to send you a DM. They are observing, they are watching, and you have to make it easy for them. So if you're hosting, let's say, a masterclass, or if you're hosting a webinar, if you have a freebie, you have to share the link with them so that they can download or they can register. The Instagram strategy is a ManyChat strategy, which helped people on Instagram to automate that strategy. You can't automate such a strategy on LinkedIn. So even if you would get like 500 people saying yes to your freebie, you would have to send DMs to each and every one of them manually, because you can't automate anything on LinkedIn, or you shouldn't. You can, but you shouldn't, because that could actually block your account. So I just wanted to say that you have to use the strategies for the platform where you're on. And it's like if you would go to a pizza place, you can't order sushi at a pizza place, right? It's the same thing here. We have to serve the platform as the platform actually wants to be served. So what do you want to say about that, Angela?
Well, I guess there are strategies that are kind of platform, independent. But the funny thing with this is that we hear this a lot, that my dream client isn't engaging, they are not commenting, and still you make a post asking them to comment a word to get something in the DMs. It just makes absolutely zero sense for me, right? It's if you can't get them to engage with something else, you're not going to get them to engage by writing a word, because on LinkedIn, compared to a lot of other platforms, the algorithm or how it works is strong. So if I comment on Josephine's things, my connections will see that I comment on your things, right? And a lot of people have their colleagues on the platform that is work colleagues, and they don't want the work colleagues to see that they are asking for a PDF how to lose weight, right? So because then they're going to talk about that on the work. So it's so off for me that you would think that strategy worked on LinkedIn in the first place. On other platforms, like we have Instagram, that is used for ManyChat, for an example. It's also used on Facebook for ManyChat when it comes to business pages, but also on Facebook profiles. This in groups it's huge, but the algorithm doesn't work the same way. And the same person can be on Facebook and comment, because they don't have their business colleagues on Facebook. But they wouldn't comment on LinkedIn because they have their business colleagues on LinkedIn or wherever they work. So that is why you need to understand the platform and adjust whatever strategy that you use needs to be adjusted to fit the platform in itself to get the most out of it. So we don't spend hours on getting nothing in return, because that is the problem we started out in the first place, right?
Exactly. And I think I have two more points on my, or actually three more points on my little sheet here. So one thing that I want to address first also is the maybe we did address it already, but maybe we can talk a little bit more about that when we have our peers who comment on our stuff, or we comment on our peers' stuff, that don't look at that as something bad. First of all, you never know where your next client is going to come from. Someone who knows someone who sees that someone else is commenting. And especially if, let's say, you are a coach or you are a service provider and you have peers who comment on your stuff, cherish that, because they are sharing their audience with you, right? And then return the favor, show up in their feed too. That is how we make it fun on LinkedIn. That is how I started, because I connected with people that I thought were interesting, were inspiring. I commented on their stuff, they comment on my stuff. I'm not talking about engagement pods here, absolutely not, but I'm talking about showing, like Angela said too, you have to have a little bit of fun when you are on the platform, because we do spend some time there, right? So connect with people that you find inspiring, connect with people that have complementary offers that you do, connect with people that have similar offers that you do, because even if their offers are similar, the audience will not be exactly the same. And some people who like me might not like my peer, and vice versa, right? So we get to help more people by doing that. Then another thing I really wanted to address too is that the content, and you actually mentioned this already, Angela, but let's talk a little bit more about that. The content needs to talk to the right people, right? We can't, you usually use this example that if I write content for cat people, but my products and the services I do is actually for dog people, that just doesn't work, right? We can't write content for coaches, but we want to attract people who are, let's say, need a leadership coach, right? So we have to write content that really speaks to the people that we want to attract. So what do you want to say about that, Angela? And then at the same time, I can read Scylla's comment.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we hear a lot, because a lot of people feel like I struggle with writing content. And that is the reason they are struggling writing content, is that they don't have enough conversations. So, but be able to write good content that speaks to the right people, you need to speak to those people. I mean, speak to them, not just observe them, actually speak to them. Read their content, comment on their content, ask questions, do virtual events, for an example, jump on calls, talk to people. The two-way communication and have conversations with your target market is absolutely free. It costs you $0 to actually do that. And you have them in your phone. We have never had it so easy to actually communicate with our target market. And for you to understand them, you will need to speak to them, because you are in your reality, they are in their reality. Your reality and their reality is not the same. And we have so many people that operate only in their own reality when they should be operating in their dream client's reality. So you just need to have more conversations and speak to more people that is your target market, in order to be able to create good content that is actually to them in their language, in the way that they would say it.
Which is actually pretty cool that you said that, because even though you hadn't seen Scylla's comment, it is actually the question is like, many operational leaders spend their careers making others successful. How do you make your own impact visible without making yourself the story? And that's exactly what Angela says. You can absolutely, and you should share about your story, because people buy from people, right? Let me see if I can put this one back. Can I put this back? Yeah. People buy from people. At the same time, they don't really care about you, right? They care whether you are the person that is going to help them to solve their problem. So it has to be about them, right? And we can use not only our own stories, but we can use case studies. We can use other people's stories, other people that have done what our clients want to achieve, right? So it's using these different types of storytelling, which is super important on LinkedIn, to actually use storytelling in your content, because LinkedIn is a written platform. We also have a good question from Ubaid. I'm going to add that one here too. If someone has expertise but low visibility, what strategy would you follow today to build authority without posting every single day? The cool thing about LinkedIn is that you actually don't need to post every single day. It's not like Instagram, where you have to post several times per day on the feed itself, and you have to add stories to, or Facebook, where you have to post the latest news. I heard was 20 times per day to actually be visible. But you do have to post, Jubaid. Of course, you can comment in other people, you can engage in other people's content, but if you want to build authority and you want to be seen as the expert, you have to put out original content there too. What do you want to say about that, Angela?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be seen as the expert, you need to lead with your thoughts, and the only way you can lead with your thoughts is to share them. How would people know your thoughts if you don't share them? Because just because I go to Josephine's post and share my thoughts on her post, I need to stand on my own, claim my own space, and that is done by posting. Then you can do it in different ways, because you can send DMs, you can run a live like we do today. It's a really good way of showing your expertise, because it's live, and people who go live and speak live, they know their stuff, right? And but you can't get away by saying, I'm not going to show up at all, but I want to be a leader in my space. Though it doesn't go hand in hand, we are not there yet. And as long as you want to go out and claim a space, you want to go out and claim it. You want to share your thoughts, you want to stand out, you want to be bold, you want to talk your expertise, and you want to tell people why you believe your solution is so superior compared to all other solutions that is in your market, or how helping people. So you will need to post. That doesn't mean that is not the same thing as hanging on the round on the platform, chit-chatting for 5 hours per day. That is not building authority at all, right? It's just scrolling. Scrolling doesn't build authority. Chit-chatting doesn't build authority. And when I mean chit-chatting, that is just you spend hours commenting on things that makes no sense. It's commenting on cats and dog posts on Facebook. It's the same thing. That is chit-chatting.
Unless you're unless you're selling cat stuff, right? But the last point I want us to make is actually the thing that we see that most people don't do, and that is, you're not inviting enough people. You can't host a party and be upset if no one comes to a party if you haven't put out any invitations. So when we talk about invitations, other people might talk about pitches. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about cold pitches, sending DMs, telling people to buy this or sign up for this or whatever it might be. We're talking about invitations, right? Do you want to join my masterclass? Do you want to have a call with me? Depending on what your sales strategy is, obviously. But you can't just put out inspirational posts there and then think that people will eventually discover you and somehow figure out what it is that you're doing. It has to be crystal clear. Your value positioning has to be crystal clear, and it has to be clear in what way you actually solve their problem. And then you also have to invite people to actually have their problem solved, right? We can't just hope and wish and think that, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to get that sale, right? I know you are the lead generation and sales queen, Angela. So what do you want to say about this?
I mean, it's kind of funny that we want to make sales. We want to have clients, but we don't want to sell. We want to fill our events, but we don't want to invite anyone. It's just not going to work. If you want to make more sales, you need to make more offers. If you want to have more people in your masterclass, you need to invite more people. That is the truth, and that is just how it is. And I have a lot to say about it, but I think it's just. But the problem here is that a lot of people feel that when they do this, they are spammy, slimy, sleazy, pushy, whatever, and that is because you define sales such as, and or lead generation such as. But you just have to understand that when you invite people, doesn't matter what you invite them to. It might be a call, it might be buying your offer, it might be a free masterclass. It does not matter. You're being of service to those people because you invite them to a place and a space of solutions to a problem that they are experiencing right now. And when you think about it that way, it's going to feel good to hand those invitations, because you should make offers and invitation every single day in your business. Maybe not post every day, but it could be in a DM, it can be in an email, it can be in a post, it can be in an event like we are. Josephine is going to invite you to her masterclass today. So I think it's important to redefine that you're being of service, and then you just have to understand that in order to make sales, you need to make offers. In order to fill your event or whatever it is, download a freebie, you need to invite people to actually do it, because they're not just going to pop from the wherever and find these things on your profile. You need to make offers.
Yeah, absolutely. Or have a homepage where it's hidden somewhere on your homepage. And I think that is actually one mindset shift that really helped me. So the very, very, very first time I was about to do a sales invitation to people I had on a masterclass, I was so nervous about this. This is many years back, but I was so nervous about this. It felt as if I had fooled people in, and now all of a sudden I was going to do this sales invitation. And I had a coach at the time, and she said, "Are you forcing anyone to buy from you?" And I was like, No. Are you holding a gun to their head to like so that they feel they have to buy from you? It's like, no, absolutely not. Well, they have a free choice too, right? And if someone downloads your freebie, or if someone I wouldn't say if someone connects with you, because not every connection is a lead and not every connection is an ideal client. But if someone downloads your freebie, if someone registers for your webinar, they take a step closer to actually being a lead than what just a simple connection is, right? So the first thing you have to do is to invite them to take that very first step, depending on what the first step for you in your sales strategy is, right? So one of the steps in how I work with my people is that we have these types of live sessions, or to build know, like, and trust, but we also run masterclasses. And I will run a masterclass this Thursday called the Steady Clients Masterclass. And that is where I'm going to share about the framework that we're using inside of LinkedIn Breakthrough, the framework that we take our clients through, that we follow ourselves, just like we've spoken about here, that you have to have a sustainable strategy. Otherwise you will burn out. I see it all the time, right? So you have to have a sustainable strategy. And that's the system that I'm going to talk about on Thursday. I would love to see you there. So we are going to add the link in the comment section. I also already added it in the description of this event, actually. So grab your spot now, right? It will be a replay. So if you can't attend live, don't worry about it. There will be a replay, but the replay will only be available for a short period of time. So make sure you register for our Steady Clients Masterclass, where we are going to talk about that. And we're going to share some of our how our clients have done it too. Like we had Annika, for example, who enrolled 13 clients in a single week. Sarah just filled her very new group coaching program with, I think it was less than a week of lead generation, which is super cool. So we are going to talk a little bit about that too, and to inspire you to see what others have made possible too. So any last words from you, Angela?
Come and join. I mean, if you want to make daily sales, if you want to fill your events, if you want to grow an engaged audience using LinkedIn without burning yourself out, without spending hours on LinkedIn, and actually have fun in the process, this is for you. And if you are watching this on LinkedIn or watching this on Facebook, come and join.
Yeah, because LinkedIn is the easiest platform to actually grow an engaged audience and generate organic leads too. So thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're watching the replay of this, add your comments underneath this so we can pick up on them too. So thank you so much. Wishing you a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye.